Nicholas, aka O5, and this is the Purple Top Podcast. I had to stop for a while because I got sick. Of course, I have sickle cell SS, but I'm back at it. I'm back at it. I want to gain more awareness to the sickle cell community. Even if you don't have sickle cell, I want people to just learn about, the disease any way they can. That's my main topic. That's my main mission right now. So that is why I started this podcast, the Purple Top Podcast. And we have a special guest with us today. Please introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Hi, guys. My name is Doris Karina, and I'm a sickle cell warrior. I have sickle cell SC. I'm a mother of two beautiful, healthy girls. They are just trait carriers. I was very adamant to make sure of that. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here and the Purple Top Podcast. Let's get it.
Did your partner have sickle cell also, or how was that decision?
Well, to be honest, from a very young age, I was always told that I wouldn't be able to have kids, or that if I did get pregnant, I would end up probably either, you know, dying during pregnancy, or my child was going to die during pregnancy, or I was. There were so many fear based, things that I heard growing up from healthcare providers. And to the point where even my family just kind of got used to the idea of that, I would probably never have grandchildren for them. So then once I met their dad, which is kind of funny because he was a nurse in the sickle cell clinic, so that helped,
Right.
where he kind of knew what he was getting into before everything. But anyways, I wasn't planning it. It kind of just happened. But the first thing that I did do, that we did, he got tested once I did find out that I was pregnant. And immediately, I found out really quickly, like early on that I was pregnant. So I was about maybe 3 weeks. It was that quick. And he said, and I told him, hey, I need you to go get tested because if you are a carrier of the trait, then I don't think I'm going to continue this pregnancy. And also, I don't think I want to continue this relationship. So thankfully, he was not a carrier. And I honestly say that, and I'm being totally transparent here. I understand that there are people, well, women, that are okay with that decision, that knowingly have, babies with the disease, on top of them, they themselves having the disease. But that's just something that I wouldn't be able to do. To each their own, but for me, that was something that I was very headstrong about. I am not putting another human being, let alone my own child, through that pain and that struggle. I am here, I'm alive, I'm strong, we are warriors, but I wouldn't give this, a
Right.
battle to any, especially a child. But it was scary.
I know you said to have him get tested. He wasn't a carrier or anything like that, and you told him, verbatim, hey, this relationship, I don't think I can do it if you, test positive. Were you going to, get rid of the children also, or since were already 3 months, or if he did test positive?
Well,
Right.
listen, I know that's a
You can
touchy
clearly,
subject, and I
not answer if you
know,
don't want to. I promise. I edited
you
that out.
know, no. I want to be full. I want to be fully transparent because I think that it's a very
Right.
a deep question, and not many will maybe admit it on camera. But I definitely
Yeah.
100% would have terminated my pregnancy. Sorry,
No, they
like
don't understand.
Christians and
That's a
Catholics,
big
don't
thing
come
to
for
deal.
me, but
I'm sorry to cut you off.
that's
I'm
just
so sorry, but it's bad to I wouldn't like my son is 3, and I have SS full blown, and my ex wife, well, goodness gracious, she wasn't a carrier at all, and I told myself, I would never bring a child into this world with sickle cell, with SC, with anything. Like people get addicted. People, can it will ruin your life if you're not headstrong. It's bad. It's terrible.
1,000%. And for me, it was mainly about I thought of scenarios in my head where, okay, what would my life look like? What would our family's life look like if not only does the mom have sickle cell, but then the
Right.
child? What if I'm in the hospital and my child is also having sickle
Right.
cell complications and is having to be admitted? How am I would probably just yank
Of
my
course.
IVs out of my arms to be there for my child
Yeah.
without even thinking about my health, which is
Yeah.
just a mind, you know what. So I just thought about those things and I said, no, I'm not going to put myself in those situations. And I do want to take accountability. I was 23 at the time, and we
Mm-hmm.
weren't in the family planning stage of our relationship, but now being more mature and educated, I wish that before I was sexually active with, my ex-husband, that I would have gotten him checked. And it's something that I am instilling in my daughter's head, mainly my oldest, because my daughters are 15 and 10, so the 10-year-old is like, okay. But I want to be very transparent with them, and from a young age, make them like understand the gravity of just the decisions that they will,
Mm-hmm.
soon, hopefully not now, but eventually
Mm-hmm.
later on in their adult life, um, how
Right.
this can affect the whole family. It's not only the child; it changes the
Right.
whole dynamic of the whole family. But going back to your question, I
Right.
100% would have terminated my pregnancy.
Right.
There's
You say
no
you.
if, no buts about it. Especially because I
Right.
was in the
Right.
early.
You said earlier. You said you wish you
What
weren't
was that?
sexually active with him, or what? What?
Well, not that I wasn't. I wish that before I had begun to be sexually active with him, I would have
Oh. Okay. Okay.
asked
Got you.
him to get tested just
Got
in
you.
case. Yeah, just in case of the possibility of him being a
Right.
carrier, which thankfully he wasn't. Um, Now, like me now, looking
Mm-hmm.
back, to my old self, I wish, because that was irresponsible of me. Like, think about it. I take me terminating a pregnancy. I know was going to weigh very heavy on my
Mm-hmm.
heart and in my life. I know the type of person I am. It wasn't something that I would have done and just been nonchalant about. um, I'm not saying that people are or aren't, but just me knowing how my mind works, I know for a fact that it
Oh,
was
for
going to be
sure. For
difficult
sure.
living with
For
that
sure.
decision.
But you have two
You know,
beautiful, healthy baby girls, so
yeah,
that's awesome. Now, you gonna
yeah.
have any more?
No,
Okay.
I actually got my tube size, so I got tubology,
Okay.
so I am done. No more babies for me. I actually wanted to get my tube
Okay.
set after my first daughter. And I went to 5 doctors, and none of them wanted to like sign for the
Oh
surgery because they
man.
said I was too young, and that, oh my God,
Yeah.
they gave me so many scenarios. Like, oh, what if your daughter dies? Wouldn't you want to have another one? And I said, this decision is based on me and my body and my capability of raising my child myself. I'm always in the
Right.
hospitals, X, Y, and Z. But,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
congratulations to you and big ups because it's very hard to have sickle cell as you do and taking care of two children. So, you know, props to you with that. I want to pivot.
yeah.
Um, our topic for this episode is alternative holistic therapies dealing with sickle cell. Now, I don't know a lot about that. I should know. What are, what is, alternative holistic therapies? Let's just, start from the beginning.
Well, there are a lot of, it can be holistic therapies, it can be alternative therapies. Alternative are usually any therapies that are not FDA approved. Those are usually the therapies that I'm interested in. um, from what I've researched, and, it goes back to in Western medicine, they're not in the business of curing you or making
Yeah.
you, feel better, right? It's a business, so that's why a lot of these therapies are not covered by insurance and they're not FDA approved because there's not a lot of money to be made there. But with me, I've been on this journey, I think, since I was about I would say after I had my daughters, just because that's when I started to really care about my health. As bad as that sounds, just because before I had my family, I lived in a life where it was more about, well, I'm gonna die anyways, so I might as well have fun. Like I'm not gonna whatever. Like if I'm gonna go out drinking and dancing and doing all sorts of things that I should have been doing. So once I had my daughters myself, no one forced me. I just started to calm down a little bit and take my medications when I was supposed to on time because
Right.
hello, now I have a human to look after. I kind of have to fight to be here. So when that mindset shifted for me is when I started to look outwards, right, or inward as well. I started doing a yoga at a very young age, but I think it intensified once I had them. My meditation, that's something that is a non-negotiable for me. Whether it's at bedtime, maybe even if I just do it 3 minutes, but it is something that I've gotten very good at with like holding myself accountable and telling myself, okay, I'm taking care of my physical body, but I also need to take care of my mental, part of me. One of the therapies that I started doing from maybe 5 years ago is ozone therapy. So ozone gas, think of it as, let's say, the most pure is like oxygen on 10, like to the 10th degree. So okay, our blood. The reason, obviously, why our red blood cells are sickle shaped is
Right.
because they don't get enough oxygen, right? So, what I go to this doctor, it's a holistic doctor, and he starts by taking out a pint of blood from me. So he connects me, to the IV bag and my blood. He collects at least 1 pint of blood, and then he takes a syringe and he takes out about maybe 20 milligrams of ozone gas, and then he injects that gas inside of the bag of blood that he just collected from me. So that what that does to my blood in the bag is it rushes oxygen into it. Visually, in that moment, while he's injecting the bag of blood of mine with the ozone gas, you could see the color change because it's being flushed with oxygen. So then after that, he connects it back to my IV line, and I get it back almost like exactly like a blood transfusion, just that I'm using my own blood. So when that goes inside of my bloodstream, it flushes like an insane amount of oxygen, which is what I'm lacking, what we're lacking in our bloodstream. It helps with fatigue. Yeah. So it helps with my fatigue. It also helps with raising my hemoglobin level a bit. Um, I do that. I haven't done it in the past couple of months just because I'm more stabilized now. My hemoglobin is a 9.4. So for me, that's amazing. And but that's something that I really believe in. Unfortunately, it is not FDA approved, like I said before, so it is out of pocket. But the sessions range from about $280 to $350 to 200. So I want to say again that it's a very like controversial treatment just because it hasn't been proved. There's not a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
collected and research done. But because I have a friend in
Mm-hmm.
Greece, actually, she swears by these ozone therapies. I actually got the kind of like the nudge that I needed to try it.
Okay.
And after doing my due diligence, I figured
Right.
and I read that the worst that could happen is that it doesn't do anything to me,
Right.
So I knew I wasn't going to be in danger, right? It boosts oxygen
For
levels, which
sure.
is something that
Yeah.
we lack, right?
Yeah.
It stimulates the immune system, which we're always in need of, right? That's another great thing. Viral infections, that's another big one. So if I see that I'm fighting
Right.
a cold, or even during COVID, I did it a couple of times, and
Uh-huh.
it helped me. It helped give me that boost that my body needed. So I really swear by it. It's not something that I do on a weekly basis. In the beginning, when I tried it, I was doing it
Right.
twice a week for about 3 months, just because my hemoglobin level was so low, and I was just in one of those years, cluster years, where you're just helpful. The
Uh-huh.
only thing is that I have a fear of
Yeah.
needles, as insane as that sounds, because I know as warriors, we're
Right.
expected to be okay with needles somehow.
It's different.
And I always explain to people, think of it this way. If I were to take a needle and poke you, 3 times every day in your hand, you might get used to it,
Yeah.
but you're still
Yeah.
gonna feel
Yeah.
the
People
pain,
say all these
right?
tattoos I have, like,
So I
you
don't
have
know
all
why
these
people think we're
tattoos,
just
Nick.
supposed
Why are
to.
you scared of this IV? It's different. The pain is different. When you're digging under your skin. Right. But go ahead. You
Yeah.
say you tried meditation.
But no, I was gonna say that with chronic pain in general, acupuncture can help with the blood circulation if targeted. There's points on your body that they can, like, a target, and it will just makes like your blood
Right.
somehow. I don't really know how, the inner working of
Right.
acupuncture, but I have tried it, and it does
Mm.
help to alleviate some
Okay.
symptoms.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see where I can go. What about aromatherapy? Have you tried any of that, or have you, learned about anything about aromatherapy? Aromatherapy.
About what therapy? Oh, aromatherapy. Yes. The one thing I will say about aromatherapy is you have to find a
Mm-hmm.
company that you can trust, because I have bought in the past, when I wasn't as educated on the actual minerals and the essential oils that are being used in these bottles and these companies. A lot of
Mm.
them they're fake, right? So they're mixed toxic chemicals just in order to make them cheaper and to mass produce them
Right.
and be able to sell them to people. So you have to find brands that are
Wow.
sourced properly. But I do. I use a lot of essential oils. I actually
Mm-hmm.
have a small little wooden box next to my bed, and
Uh,
I have aromatherapy, like an infuser. And every night, like clockwork, I put maybe 3 to 5 drops of lavender. I do rosemary, because
mm.
rosemary is very good with detoxing. So, if you're fighting any little germs and things like that,
Okay.
it's very, very helpful. I use it. I use it throughout the day. I even have one. It's called.
Mm.
Um, oh my god, I can't think of it right now. But I use it on my daughters every morning before going to school, because it has a combination of
Mm-hmm.
different minerals and just
Right. And it just
things that
goes
will
in the
help
air.
boost their immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Like garlic, rosemary, oregano. Oregano is
Oh
literally a
wow.
natural
Wow. And you just
antibiotic.
smell it
Think
in.
of it that
Okay.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely try that because I definitely need something, to help me. I've been through it this past month. I had a whole blood infection. They had to take out my old port. I had to get a new port placed in. That thing hurts. It hurts so bad, Doris. Yeah.
I can. How's your I know that I've never had a port put into my body, but I've had
Yeah.
7 PIC lines in my arms, in both. They always alternated. The longest one that I have had in me, it
Oh
has
wow.
been almost 3 years. They're not, doctors are always surprised, because they're not meant to
Mhm.
be long term, things. PIC lines are not long term. They usually put it in your
Mhm.
arm for a surgery or for blood transfusion.
Mm.
But because I take care of it so well, and I'm so diligent with my own cleaning, and I take
Right.
super, because you can get an infection, right? Um, so I just
Mm.
had one about 2 months ago, but unfortunately, for the first time in my life,
Mm.
I caught a blood clot right here, like in my
Mm.
artery. So it had to be removed. And I was
Mhm.
so sad, because that was my access. Sometimes I've gone to. emergency room and I've had to be sent home because they can't access my veins.
Pain, or you can feel yourself going into a crisis, and they sticking you and sticking you and sticking you, and they can't find a vein. Like, even with the ultrasound machine, like, you can't find a vein at all. That sucks.
Isn't that insane? Even with the ultrasound machine, that you would think, oh, they're definitely gonna find it. And let me tell you, the last time I was in the emergency room, the doctor, they stuck me 5 times. The first 3 times, they did it, without the ultrasound machine, and they finally were able to get it from the
Right.
hospital because it was being used somewhere else. They only had two. Um, so when the doctor brought it in to the emergency room, little area,
Mm.
he found a good
Mm-hmm.
one in my right arm, like upper right arm.
Mm.
But again, it was a deep vein. So he had to dig in there. And although he knew where he was going, he told me, I've never seen this happen, where he put in the needle, and as soon as the needle was getting close to the vein or the artery, the
Wow.
vein retracted.
That. Yeah.
It was just,
Yes, the
yeah, it's
scar
like even
tissue.
our
Was it on
veins
the
are
inside or
traumatized.
the like on the outside?
No, inside, like it
Wow.
was literally right. I still have a
Yeah.
bruise from it. I don't
Now
know if
I
you can
don't
see. It's like
get
a little spot right
right.
there.
Yeah. Now I
It
don't.
was
I
right.
stopped getting IVs in that part because every single time that they stick me up there in that area, it hit a nerve, and that's the worst feeling ever. You ever hit a nerve while trying to fish?
That's what happened to me. He actually, the second time he tried, he pinched
Mm.
a nerve. So for 2 weeks, I couldn't extend my arm. I couldn't,
Mm.
like, I was walking around with my arm like this.
Okay. So these are some of the general questions I ask everybody who's going to come on the podcast who I've been on. It's about 10 questions. Let's see. A piece of advice you would give to a young girl dealing with sickle cell disease.
I would say this too shall pass. That, I mean, to my younger self, it would just be, hold on, don't don't listen to the negativity that you hear from the doctors. Doctors are humans as well, and they can make mistakes in diagnosis and things like that. Like, just listen to your
It's
body. I mean,
okay.
I'm sorry, you're
It's
asking me for
okay.
one, and I'm giving you like 20.
Or, listen to your body.
Listen to your body.
Well, I personally don't like taking it. How do you feel about hydroxyurea?
Well, I tried it for 2 years, and it just didn't do anything for me. But I have a
Right.
lot of friends that are thriving on it, that are literally have turned their life around, that they haven't gotten hospitalized in years. So other than that, I don't really have anything more like.
Right. How has sickle cell disease affected your life in a positive way?
How has sickle cell affected my life in a positive way? That's a good question, Nick.
Right.
We always talk about the negative, right? So it's always good. I like that. Um, it has given me almost like
Mm-hmm.
glass. You know how they say rose-colored
Yes.
glasses. You know that people, oh, you're looking through your rose. No, no, I'm looking through the lens of having a lot of empathy for other people. I think that it has made me um, have more patience. I think just because if you don't have patience or just empathy towards others, and it's just
Right.
made me be more grateful for life, right? Because we we are told so often that we're not gonna make it till next year or this. So it's almost like in my head, at least I'll speak for myself. I try to make the best out of every little situation. I'm always celebrating the most tiniest of success, whether for myself or in
Mm-hmm.
my daughters or in my family and friends. I just try to, it's made me
Resilient.
more grounded and
Yeah.
more just in the moment. So I think that sickle cell has taught me, and of course, to be strong and to thrive and to push on. But I'm also learning with my age as I get older that although we have been taught
Mm.
to, push through and be strong, we also have to listen to our bodies. And it is okay to sometimes say no and to
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just lay in bed all day if that's what our bodies need. And it is okay to cancel plans last minute
Mm.
if that's
Yeah.
what your body requires. And that has taken me years to learn because I have always missed out on so many important dates and occasions of my daughters, of my family and loved ones. And in my head, I would always play catch up. Like, no, 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 I can't, call out, or um, I can't tell them that I'm not going to make it to the party tonight or to the family function this weekend because, no, I always do this, so I can't.
Right.
They're gonna get upset and
Yeah.
F all that. No, if the people that love you understand you, and I guarantee you, it is the best
Mm.
way to weed people out that should not be in your life. And I've learned that now that I'm older. And if going back to what you asked me earlier, what would I tell my younger self? Stop caring so much about what others are thinking of you. This battle is not going to get better. The only thing that's going to get better, Nick, is
Right.
how we respond to those adversities. That's the only thing I have to say about that. It's a mental thing. We cannot control what happened to us, whether it's sickle cell related or not sickle cell related. We can only control how we react and respond to them. And we have a lot of triggers. So if I'm gonna get upset because of something, so silly, that's gonna trigger a headache,
Yeah.
pain in my arm, in my leg. So I'm learning to value my little bubble of peace. I value it so much that if I, befriend you and it gets to a point where you're just bringing too much drama into my life,
Right.
I will love you from afar. I won't be your enemy. I won't be rude to you, but I'm sorry, I'm rambling on, but yeah.
It took me. I'm 29. It took. I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, right? Like, oh no, I don't want to
No,
cancel
me too.
because they're gonna might judge me in this way or say I'm always hurting or say something like that, and then I go out and then I'm worse than when I walk throughout the door. Then I gotta go to the hospital for a week, and none of those people who I went out with are gonna come to the hospital. I might get a text or two, but other than that, no. Like so you hit that on the head. Another question: how's your mental been? Are you dealing with a lot of mental issues, or are you okay? Or
Um, I think it's a work in progress. I don't think it's one of those things where
Mhm.
I'll ever be, and again, I'll speak for myself. I think I dare say that a lot of us are in the same boat, whether we admit it or not. But it's one of those things that in the recent years, maybe the past 2 years, is when I kind of came to peace with myself that I do have depression. I'm just one of those persons that has high functioning depression where I am still able to, knock my tasks, whether it's, my mom hat, my, friend hat, whatever, like all the hats that we
Mm.
all wear throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year. And I just think that there isn't a day, Nick, that goes by that I don't think
Mm.
that I might die. And I don't wanna say it in a tone where people start worrying about me. Like, no, guys, I'm not suicidal. I'm not there. But I think that it's a constant struggle, and I still haven't found the right equation or the right cocktail that works for me, whether it be talk therapy or,
Right.
art therapy, yoga, meditation, breathing, you name it, but I'm still on the
For
search for
sure.
that. But what I do know is that I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up because for me, it's my daughters. They need me too much. I mean, I'm 38 years old, and although I'm very independent, and yes, I'm a single mom, and I have so much responsibilities being a mom alone, but
Right.
I
I
still
know.
call my mom. So I know my job will never end, and that keeps me going with my mental health
Right.
and with my depression.
Wow.
That I just can't give up on myself. And yeah, I mean, it sucks to say, and I don't think I've ever said that out loud, to be honest with you. But
Yeah. Just know you have support. I know we haven't met or anything
yeah,
like that, but I'm here. You know, I'm definitely here. Two more questions for you, okay? Two more, then we're up out of here. Um, Finish the quote. Despite having sickle cell. Dot dot dot.
despite having sickle cell,
Mm-hmm.
despite having sickle cell, I still manage to find
Also,
glimmers of hope throughout my day.
okay, this is the last one. If you were interviewing me, okay, what questions would you ask me that I haven't asked you?
I would ask you, give me one reason besides the obvious, which is having sickle cell. One reason that pushes you to advocate so hard the way you do.
Awesome 3-year-old. Me and his mother didn't work out. Obviously, we were married. I guess she did it for the wrong reasons. I'm still having issues seeing my son. He's in California right now. I didn't get to make it. I didn't get to. I don't. I haven't seen him since he was 1. And it's only me, trying to do everything, court papers and everything like that. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. But I get to FaceTime him 4 days a week, and he's now calling me daddy. He's saying, "Hey, daddy." So that motivates me so much, to not give up. Because I have all the reasons to give up. Like I'm always in a hospital. I'm trying. Like I don't lost so much weight. But I can't give up on him. There is a quote saying, "You have to get you right before you can help anybody else." And I'm going to get myself right so I can help him and get out there. I always say I don't want to be a holiday dad. Like, oh, it's Easter, I'm gonna go see my son. Oh, it's Christmas. Hey, son, I'm gonna fly out for 2 days. No, I'm gonna get my stuff together and get healthy, and hopefully, start living out that way. Be a dad. Be a daddy. Yeah, yeah,
100%, you put it right on the nail. Like that was awesome, and I know, like, thank you for sharing that with me because I would have never guessed that. You carry it very well, and I know that sometimes, like I said before, sometimes we're battling
uh,
other things that have nothing to do with sickle cell that can trigger our sickle cell flare-ups. So I know that that whole situation not only weighs heavy on your heart, but must be weighing heavy on, getting you sick or pain when you start to think about that the whole situation. So um, you're moving in the right direction, let me just say that, and I'm proud of you for not giving up because you could have very easily, Nick, just been so overwhelmed with the whole
yeah.
situation and just said, oh, fuck it, I'm done with this.
That means a lot, a lot, a lot. Thank you. We're gonna close it out here. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and being the special guest on this episode. I really feel like your information that you have spread it tonight is going to help out a lot of people. Even if we don't know, even if they don't comment or they don't say anything, I'm pretty sure somebody is going to take away from what you said, what I've said. So I just want to say thank you again. And is there anything last words you want to say? Shout out your social medias. Anything you're working on?
Well, I'm very excited because tomorrow's the last day of a 4-day conference that I've been a part of. And it's been so exciting. And I've met so many warriors from all over the United States. And there's been a lot of, in the last 3 days that I've been going to the convention center, there's been a lot of laughter, but also a lot of tears. Because although we know that we're not alone, and there are thousands of us going through the same exact thing in different parts of the world, it's sometimes just being in the same room with them reminds us, like, oh shit, like, you get it. So I'm working on few projects with that organization and with others, and I'm just excited, and I feel that I'm finally back to my routine. I'm starting to get back into my routine. You know, I just went through a divorce after 15 years of a partnership, and although me and my father and my daughter's father were still very much, you know, very, very like best friends. We still talk and everything. Everything is very amicable. I love him to death. But it's a lot going on, so I feel that now I'm starting to get back into my advocating groove and back into doing the projects that I've been envisioning for years. So I'm just really excited about that and getting my mojo, my advocating mojo back, right?
Oh, yeah, I seen you post a little bit on that. I have to check that out more, deeper. You seem really happy when you're there. All you do is smile and everything like that. So I'm gonna definitely check it out. If you would,
Yeah.
say your social medias, if you want to.
Oh, if you guys want to follow me on my journey and on my tips and tricks on, living with a chronic illness, you can follow me on Instagram at Dorita, Dorita underscore 13. And yeah, hit that follow button and I will follow you right back.
Episode 1 of the Purple Top Podcast. Like I said, my name is Nicholas, aka O5. This was Miss the beautiful Doris. Please follow us on all social medias. Everything is at the Purple Top Podcast. Hashtag the Purple Top Podcast. And please subscribe to our the YouTube page. We're at 191. We're on the road to 200. So we get to 200. We're gonna celebrate. Oh, nice hat. I like the hat. I'm jealous. I'm definitely. I need one of those. But yes, like I said, that is the end. And I was say thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm so excited for this new journey of yours, and I'm
Awesome.
here for it all.